All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what Terence Crawford's team had to say about the Errol Spence Jr. fight not taking, and some real rough advice for boxing fans, and the hope that the fight will still go through. Man, you can't make this stuff up. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound division, talking about some craziness, man. Straight up, this is the only way I can say it. Terence Crawford's team, specifically his sister, has some real harsh words for Errol Spence Jr. fans that care about seeing the fight, and then says something about what's going to happen next that is just boggles the mind. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, as usual, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. All right, let's get into this. This is silly. This is just absolute silliness, man. And I'm telling you, this is more of a personal video, less of a just, giving you some facts that are out there type of video. Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford are in a negotiation to make a fight. Everybody has been involved and have been paying attention to the negotiations from the minute Errol Spence Jr. beat Yordenis Ugas. Because when Errol Spence Jr. beat Yordenis Ugas, that meant that all three belts were with Errol Spence. All three belts were with Errol Spence. One belt was with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford was no longer with ESPN. Errol Spence Jr.'s in the ring saying, you know who I want next. I want Terence Crawford. I want Terence Crawford next. That's the fight that I want. Is not looking to fight anybody else. No plan Bs, no plan Cs, no none of that, right? So they enter into negotiations that go on for 6 months, information leaking here, information leaking there. During the entire time, Terence Crawford's camp is on Twitter saying what they think about this, being harsh on Errol Spence Jr., harsh on his fans over here. And now that Terence Crawford pulls out of the fight, unexpectedly pulls out of the fight for one of the wackest fights that it's almost like the man looked for the worst fight the man could possibly make, because it's not an acceptable fight any way, shape, or form for me as a boxing fan. If somebody would have said 2 weeks ago, okay, yeah, his plan B is David Avancian, people would have been like, man, are you kidding me? Dude, that is a tin can. Why are you fighting a tin can? So anyway, Terence Crawford decides he's going to go fight this tin can. And what is the reaction of people? They don't like it, right? And a whole bunch of people don't like it, and they're talking about it. And then Terence Crawford's camp, through the voice of his sister, says, I have never seen so many people concerned about what another man is doing. How about you guys go and get a girl? Right now, she uses the word that is synonymous with a cat. Right? So you all need to go buy yourself a cat and relax. Right? No, we do not. Okay, no, we do not. But not nice little words there. That's all cute, fine and dandy or whatever. Absolutely, positively not. People have been sitting here waiting for this fight to be made. Bud said that he's going to make the fight. Your whole camp said the fight is completely done. And then you switch up and say, oh, it's done when you accept our terms. But the whole time you're out there negotiating for a fight to take place in Omaha, Nebraska, with David Avancian, who is leftovers of leftovers. Egas Kalvanakis got knocked out by Terence Crawford. Egas Kalvanakis knocked out David Avancian. Errol Spence Jr. beat Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson beat David Avancian. So Terence Crawford, we go from having a bout that could be where we're sitting there talking about all-time great fighters and proving your greatness, And then you go from that to hearing the man is going to be fighting somebody's the leftovers of his own leftovers and the leftovers of Errol Spence Jr.'s leftovers. It's just an unacceptable fight. If they had said that they were going to fight Virgil Ortiz, then okay. If you were going to fight Jaron Ennis, okay. If you were going to fight Keith Thurman, okay. But David Advansian, no. People are going to say something about that because that is literally held up almost the entire second half of the year, especially from the PBC side, because none of those fighters that I just mentioned, with the exception of Virgil Ortiz, maybe, who's with Golden Boy, is going to fight this year because Terence Crawford was engaged in a fake negotiation that lasted forever while he leverages it against another offer to fight a tin can. But then the audacity to boot, to then say also, don't listen to none of these people. Get your money. We're not going to be inactive. Get your money. We'll fight Errol Spence Jr. in February. No, you will not fight Errol Spence Jr. in February. Who do you think you're fooling with that one? You're going to fight Errol Spence Jr. in February? How? You think that they are going to restart a negotiation that Terence Crawford turned down at the last minute without telling them, without giving them the ability to plan to do something else before you just pull the rug out from them, and they're just going to go about business as usual in February? No, and you know that. Terence Crawford is probably going to be persona non grata over there with the PBC unless Errol Spence Jr. says, okay, yeah, I just really, really want it. And even in that scenario, you're going to have everybody over there looking at Errol Spence Jr. very side-eyed. Like, Errol, we like you a lot. But if you want to continue to go through this with this guy, I don't know what we can do, man. We can't help you. Like we just wasted. Gervonta Davis can't fight in December. Jaron Ennis isn't going to be able to fight this year. Keith Thurman is not going to be able to fight this year. All because we're negotiating with this guy who then we find out isn't even negotiating in good faith, is out there trying to have his cake and eat it too. Get this offer, this offer, ghost people at the end of it for 2 weeks while he wraps it up just to make sure everything is cool before he tells these other people what he's doing. No, man, more than likely that's not going to pop off. More than likely it's not going to pop off. But I just find it's just amazing, man. Like, in the whole thing about like who's blaming who. Terence Crawford's reputation for negotiating with people is that he is very, very, very difficult to negotiate with. And the attitude that's being shown after this fight is exactly what people and what Bob Arum and those guys were talking about when they said that. Like, look, it's just so difficult to deal with. We're all right with it. Good luck, move on. Now, I certainly hope for Terence Crawford's perspective that this is his last fight. That this is a fight where he says, okay, I'm going to get this last payday. And after that, boom, I'm gone. I'm going into retirement, because it's going to be very difficult for anybody to deal with him. And I'm not believing that $10 million for nothing. And Oscar De La Hoya, when he heard about the $10 million, just started laughing out loud. Like, really? When? How are you going to get $10 million for that fight? Like, man, everybody should go fight on a no-name streaming app if you can get that. Man, I don't believe that money for anything. But anyway, it is what it is. That's my take on the matter. I told you it was going to be more editorial, this one. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.